Coming up on 5 Minute News. Trump told no one is above the law in $250 million fraud case. Top diplomats meet in Kyiv to support Ukraine. And Nobel Prize for COVID scientists. It's Tuesday, October 3. I'm Santa Templeton. Opening arguments have been heard in a fraud lawsuit that could cost disgraced former President Donald Trump some of his most prized properties. He faces a civil lawsuit against him, his eldest sons and their companies, and a fine of $250 million for alleged fraud committed through the Trump Organization. Judge Arthur Engoron ruled last week that Trump committed fraud in his business dealings. If upheld on appeal, the ruling could force Trump to give up New York properties, including Trump Tower, a Wall Street office building, golf courses, and a suburban estate. This trial concerns 6 remaining claims in the lawsuit, including allegations of conspiracy, falsifying business records, and insurance fraud. New York State Attorney General Letitia James claims Trump deceived banks, insurers, and others by largely overvaluing his assets and exaggerating his net worth. James is seeking the $250 million penalty and a ban on Trump doing business in New York. No matter how powerful you are and no matter how much money you think you have, no one is above the law, she said on her way into the courthouse. Trump also spoke outside the courtroom, where he denied the allegations and called the lawsuit a politically motivated witch hunt, a claim already dismissed by the judge. Defense lawyers claim his financial statements are legitimate. Trump's holdings are Mona Lisa properties that can command top dollar, his attorney Alina Habba said. That is not fraud, that is real estate, she added. Trump has reiterated claims the trial is an attempt to thwart his return to the White House. Some of Europe's top diplomats are gathered in Kyiv in a display of support for Ukraine's fight against Russia's invasion, as signs emerge of political strain in Europe and the United States over the war. European Union foreign ministers converged on the Ukrainian capital for an unannounced informal meeting that officials said would review the bloc's support for Ukraine and discuss Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's proposed peace formula. The United States, the EU and the United Kingdom have provided massive military and financial support to Ukraine, enabling it to stand up to the Kremlin's attack. The assistance is crucial for Ukraine's weakened economy and has so far been open-ended. But uncertainty has set in over how long Kyiv's allies will keep sending it aid worth billions of dollars and euros. President Joe Biden on Sunday reassured allies of continued US financial support for the war effort after Congress averted a government shutdown by adopting a short-term funding package that dropped assistance for Ukraine in its battle against Russia. Many US politicians acknowledge that winning approval for Ukraine assistance in Congress is growing more difficult as the war grinds on. Mr. Zelensky's 10-point peace proposal includes establishing a special tribunal to prosecute Russian war crimes and building a European Atlantic security architecture with guarantees for Ukraine. Ukraine is determined to become a member of the EU, and EU officials have encouraged that course, even though it could take years amid a war of attrition with no end in sight. The largely symbolic meeting took place after the weekend election victory in EU member Slovakia of Roberto Fico, whose pro-Russian agenda has increased the question marks about the EU's continued support for Kyiv. 2 scientists have won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for discoveries that enabled the creation of messenger RNA vaccines against COVID-19 that were critical in slowing the pandemic, technology that's also being studied to fight cancer and other diseases. Hungarian-American Katalin Kariko and American Drew Weissman were cited for contributing to the unprecedented rate of vaccine development during one of the greatest threats to human health, according to the panel that awarded the prize in Stockholm. The panel said the pair's groundbreaking findings fundamentally changed our understanding of how mRNA interacts with our immune system. Traditionally, making vaccines required growing viruses or pieces of viruses and then purifying them before the next steps. The messenger RNA approach starts with a snippet of genetic code carrying instructions for making proteins. Pick the right virus protein to target, and the body itself turns into a mini vaccine factory. The revolutionary technology has opened a new chapter of medicine and can potentially be harnessed to develop vaccines against other diseases like malaria, RSV, and HIV. It also offers a new approach to infectious disease like cancer with the prospect of personalised vaccines. More Nobel Prize announcements will be made this week, with the Nobel Peace Prize set to be announced in Norway on Friday.
5 Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.